This short video offers my opinion on where God came from and how and why He created us and the universe. First, I'll offer a condensed version of the theory, then I'll follow that up with a detailed explanation of what led me to that conclusion. The first question I would ask is, what is God? It's a being of infinite creative intelligence and life energy. In this theory, I propose that in the Big Bang, God exploded, compressing some of His life energy into matter, the matter that composes the universe. We all know that matter is made of energy. I'm proposing that this energy is God's life energy. Furthermore, I'm proposing that if E equals mc squared, then Ec squared equals m. In other words, if you accelerate a given volume of energy to the speed of light squared, it will be compressed into mass. So why would God go to all this trouble? He had to have a place to grow and harvest the life energy of which He's made. So next, I'll explain in detail the thoughts that led me to this conclusion. Most people believe in God, an almighty being who created everything in the universe, both physical and spiritual. Well, my question would be, if He exists in a universe where He created everything, well then who created Him? There can only be one answer to this question. If God indeed created everything in the universe, both physical and spiritual, well then He must have created Himself. Don't laugh. There's a simple and logical explanation that supports this concept, scientifically. If God came to the realization that He must have created Himself, then He must have realized that He needed to get busy at it or risk His own demise. So in creating Himself, He would first have to identify what it is that He's made of. By most people's estimation, that would be a creative life energy of infinite power. So in order to create this life energy, He would have to create a garden in which this life energy could grow and be harvested. In order to produce this, or anything for that matter, there must be a starting point from which growth could progress. And there can't be a starting point or the progression of growth unless time existed. So how would He go about creating time? All God would have to do is move something from one place to another. In doing this, He would have created a starting point against which to measure both time and distance. But what could He move in this infinite emptiness? Well, He could move a portion of His own life energy from one place to another. Because He was creating time and distance, the span of existence from a starting point to a point thereafter, He had to assign a value to it. Say He invested 1 unit of life energy in the project. The energy would need to have a value in time. Otherwise, the energy would have 0 value. So say He assigned the value of 1 second to the unit of life energy. Then say He moved that unit from here to there over the course of 5 seconds. In doing this, something remarkable would happen. The 1 life energy unit per second has now existed for a period of 5 seconds. The net life energy has grown 5-fold. Now consider the distance the life energy traveled in that 5 seconds. That would have a bearing on the value of the life energy as well. An accelerating force would be required to move that energy from here to there. That accelerating force would be stored in that energy as inertia. Some might argue that energy, unlike mass, would not require an accelerating force to achieve motion. And if it were in motion, unlike mass, it would not possess inertia. To that objection I would say, what is mass made of? Well, according to Einstein, energy. And according to Einstein, as mass is accelerated to a velocity near the speed of light, it becomes more dense, as would be the energy that mass is made of. So getting back to God, if you accelerated this 1 life energy unit to a greater velocity, then it would become more dense. According to Einstein, the amount of energy required to accelerate a given volume of mass to the speed of light squared is the amount of energy contained in that mass. I'm proposing that equation works both ways. If you accelerate a given volume of energy to the speed of light squared, then it will be compressed into mass. So this is the method that God would use to transform some of his life energy into matter. So if he decided to explode, sending his life energy in all directions, slamming against the light barrier, then he would create a universe full of matter. In doing this, he would create a garden in which he could cultivate and harvest the life energy of which he's made. God is not bound by time. He created time as a medium for things to grow. For billions of years, God has cultivated and harvested life energy in this universe, as he will for billions of years into the future. By stepping outside of the bounds of time, he's able to invest all of this life energy into himself, therefore creating himself. But God is more than just life energy. Above all else, he is creative. A tree can live for 100 years, producing a significant amount of life energy. But of all that life energy, there isn't a trace of creative life energy. How could the life energy of a tree evolve into something that has creative intelligence? Well, not in one lifetime, that's for sure. If that tree's life energy, or soul if you will, was invested into another tree's lifetime, then it would grow. Over millions of years as life forms evolved, their souls would evolve in unison. As time passed, these older souls would start to find ways of resolving problems using creativity. Until this point, all forms of life existed solely on instinct. This brings us to mankind. If all of our souls evolved at the same rate, then why are some people more creative and others more instinctive? Again, we have to realize that God is not bound by time. If at the end of a lifetime he feels that a soul needs a certain environment, that environment may not be in a lifetime in the future. It may be in the past. If God wants to expedite the growth of a tree's life energy, then why not reincarnate it into 1,000 trees or even 10,000 trees in the same span of time? He's probably doing the same thing with us. Wouldn't it be something to run into yourself from another incarnation in this lifetime? Have you ever met someone and walked away scratching your head thinking, why do they seem so damn familiar? That might be the answer. So why would souls of different ages exist in the same time period? Well, it makes sense. The older souls could use their creativity to provide a comfortable habitat for those less creative. The creative souls could create cars, highways, hospitals, schools, for those young souls who operate on instinct or must be taught everything they know. I would say it's an obligation of the older souls to treat the younger souls with the same consideration and patience they would their own younger siblings. So for those of us that are anxious to meet God and see him face to face, you're in luck. If you're looking for an old man with a beard and white hair, you'd be better off to go see Santa Claus. As far as seeing God, look in the mirror. Every atom that makes up your being is God's life energy. So when you hear that little voice inside, it might be a good idea to pay attention to it.